Hi, friends. It's no secret that finding a good job in today's world is not an easy task. After all, everyone wants to hire a professional, but they also want to pay them as little as possible. Each of us have probably gone through the disappointing process of sending out resumes and going to interviews, only to hear the not-so-promising "we'll give you a call" in the end. Something similar happened to the man featured in our video today. Finding a job wasn't easy for Paulo Maurice Young. However, he didn't complain about his life. But on the contrary, he grabbed at every opportunity that came around, because he didn't just have to provide for himself, but also for his little daughter. Many of you might feel like asking if it's really that difficult to find a job in America. It might not be the case for some people, but when you're homeless, and Paulo Maurice was, then your chances of getting a good position aren't that great. Unfortunately, the man had nothing. No money, no car, and not even a roof over his head. Paulo Maurice had to wash up and wash his clothes in public restrooms before interviews, but he still wouldn't give up. He kept trying for his daughter. Thus, one day, Paulo applied to the Pratt & Whitney aerospace plant. He didn't even expect anything to come out of it, so when he was called in for an interview, he was on cloud 9. The interview went well, and the man got the job. It was part-time at first, but he was promised a full-time position if he was actually good at the job. It would seem that his problem was solved, but unfortunately, the factory turned out to be far enough from where the man lived that it was very difficult for him to get to it without money. It took him 6 hours to walk to the factory and back. He was just happy to have the opportunity to work. So ever since then, Paulo had spent 3 hours going to work and 3 hours going back every day. The man went out when it was still dark and also came back in the darkness. But even the grueling walks and little sleep didn't affect the man's work. Paulo did a good job, and the company's management was happy with his work. But there was one but. The other employees had one issue with the man. The problem was that the new employee always smelled bad, and so did his clothes. Which makes sense, he did spend 6 hours walking every day. This could have well become grounds for his dismissal, but not in this story. One day, Paulo's colleagues asked him where he lived and what his life outside of work was like. And since the man wasn't good at lying, he told the truth. "I'm ashamed to admit it, but I'm homeless. I have a little daughter, and she's my main life's motivation. I work hard because I need money, and I'm very happy to be part of your team." Who knows how people would have reacted to such a confession in any other place of work, but Paulo's life was about to change. So, having learned Paulo's story, factory manager Kelly Johnson did not decide to fire the man, but instead, she decided to help. And in just a matter of days, Kelly and other plant employees managed to change Paulo's life. His colleagues didn't waste time thinking of ways they could help. They simply raised the necessary amount to rent a small apartment near the plant. Now, the man didn't have to spend hours walking to and from work. But that wasn't all. In the next few weeks, the factory staff brought Paulo food, washed his clothes at their homes, and also helped him out with other household tasks. Having all this support allowed the young man to get out of poverty and feel like a full-fledged member of society again. Paulo found it hard to believe that people he barely knew could be so incredibly kind. Now the man could do an even better job. And 2 months later, he completed his internship with honors and got a permanent position. A lot of time has passed since then, and Paulo's life has changed for the better. Thanks to the support of his colleagues, he was able to afford decent housing, as well as buy a car. The way Paulo has changed in such a short time is so obvious. All he needed was a little help, and he took care of the rest. He's very diligent at his work, and he's even willing to work overtime. Despite having a tough life, Paulo still remains an optimist. He showed us all what true desire and aspiration is, his colleague said about the once homeless man. Many of you might say that homeless people don't usually achieve much in their lives. After all, many of us are prejudiced, believing that homeless people are usually irresponsible. But few of us tried to get to know what happened to them and why their lives turned out this way. The fact that Paulo's colleagues chose to support him in those difficult times instead of turning away from him is admirable. It's so great to realize that there are still kind and good people in our world. So friends, how do you feel about what Paulo's colleagues did, and about his decision to change his life for the better? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. That's all for today. Don't forget to hit the like button, and I'll see you soon. Bye.